Member-elect for Moresby Northwest sworn in. Over 200 public servants graduate. And volunteers climb Mt Kanagio for charity.
This is National MTV News with Dennis Orere.
Good evening and welcome. This is Friday's news. The member-elect for Moresby Northwest, Lohia Boy Samuel, was officially sworn in today as a Member of Parliament. The member was officially welcomed by the leader of Pangu Party and Prime Minister James Marape.
This morning, the member-elect for Moresby Northwest, Lohia Boy Samuel, was accompanied by his mother, delegates and few other MPs to be officially sworn in as a Member of Parliament. Leader of the Pangu Party and Prime Minister James Marape and other members of the party were also there to witness this significant event. The swearing-in began with the reading of the oath, followed by the toast.
I, Lohia Boy Samuel, do promise and declare that I will well and truly serve the independent state of Papua New Guinea and its people in the office of the Member of Parliament.
Do promise and declare that I will well and truly serve the independent state of Papua New Guinea and its people in the office of Member of Parliament.
It's been more than 30 years since 1982 a son of Motu Koitabu was elected to represent the people of Moresby Northwest. Lohia Boy Samuel becomes the second after the late Mauru Rarua Rarua. Samuel, who takes over the late Sir Mekere Murata, gave his first official statement. While outlining his short-term plan, he says the Moresby Northwest electorate still lacks basic services and it deserves the attention it needs. But considering the time, much cannot be done.
And with all due respect, the electorate has suffered for a long period of time. So my role now is to complement what Sir Mekere had done, is to ensure that the long-suffering people of Anubara, Gabi, Tatana, the people of Ward 1, my people, services must be brought to them immediately. And with the help of people like my Southern Region leader, Honorable William Sam, and the Prime Minister, we will ensure that some of the commitments we made during our campaign are rolled out for the people of Motu Koita, the people of Gerehu, Tokara, Morata, and the settlements and the suburbs. It's not a quick fix. It's not an immediate plan, or it's a medium to long-term situation. So there will be no miracles for the next 8 months, but it's a medium to long-term plan that the Prime Minister and I have sat down and discussed. Also with the Honourable John Kaupa. He also has a lot of settlements in his neck of the woods, and also the suburbs. If you go to Tokara, there are a lot of potholes. There are a lot of classrooms that are lacking in maintenance. So those are the things that we spoke about, and we need to start cracking the whip and getting them all cleaned up. So the responsibility is threefold: looking after the villages, looking after the settlements, and also looking after our suburbs.
Running under the Pangu Party banner, the member-elect was welcomed by the Pangu Party leaders. William Sam, speaking on behalf of the party leaders, says Samuel has displayed leadership qualities prior to becoming the member. He also brushed aside talks on Pangu Party rigging election process.
Credit to our member-elect. He's a leader in his own right. He has his base number. His people from Hanobada, Baroni, Tatana, and then his friends from Papua New Guinea in the rest of Moresby Northwest. So for critics to say Pangu rig election, far from it. Let's not confuse our people. Let me, on behalf of our Prime Minister, our government, and Pangu Party, put it clear here that Pangu is not in the business of rigging elections.
With just less than a year before the issue of wreaths for the 2022 national election, the addition of Lohia Boy Samuel brings the total number of members of the Pangu Party to 31. Suli, National MTV News.
Over 200 public servants today graduated with certificates and diplomas in public administration and other leadership and governance courses. The courses were offered at the Pacific Institute of Leadership and Governance with the aim to improve the country's public service. Public Service Minister Joe Sungi challenged the public servants to be committed and competitive.
Public servants from various government departments and line agencies today gathered to receive their certificates and diplomas in various programs. These public servants were course participants for the year 2020 who have undertook studies at the Pacific Institute of Leadership and Governance. The courses offered to public servants are aimed at building the public sector workforce capacity. PILAG CEO Michael Barobes says despite the COVID-19 pandemic, they have managed to complete the courses.
PILAG continue to strive. That's why our motto, you can see it says, resilience at work, building public sector workforce capability in the face of COVID-19. We have succeeded. I thank my staff members, my trainers, for perseverance and getting the work on so that we train the public service that will go out to the district and province and deliver goods and services.
PILAG, or formerly known as Administration College, is one of the oldest institutions in the country, and it has been offering competency-based training to public servants to help build the country's workforce. Since its inception as the Pacific Institute of Leadership and Governance under the PILAG Act 2017, they have been working in partnership with government departments to train public servants. These courses are offered at PILAG's Waigani campus and other regional training centers in various provinces. And this is the third graduation ceremony held under this new name.
Our PILAG Act articulates that the Institute must continue to support the national government's broad objectives of building and strengthening public sector capacity. Also, the Institute is required to transition and transform itself into a self-sufficient and self-sustaining entity.
Public Service Minister Joe Sungi was also there to witness this ceremony. In his keynote address, he challenged the public servants to make use of their knowledge to serve the government and the people. He says the government is committed to change the public perception on the country's public service workforce. He challenged the public servants to do away with corruption and complacency and be committed and competitive.
You have to now be competent. Just be competent. Be punctual. Competency includes everything. Taking responsibility. Be proactive. Don't wait for your boss to tell you. You do it yourself. Taking responsibility. When others are not doing it, you do it. And then next, the other C is to make sure that you are committed. We have a really big problem in this country that we are not committed. You have to be committed to that call. You should grab look, I'm a public servant, yeah?
Rayon Lakingu National, EMTV News.
The elevation of Captain Philip Polewara from PNGDF Chief of Staff to Deputy PNGDF Commander signifies the transitioning to a modern defence force. Captain Polewara's elevation follows NEC's recognition for the office of Deputy Commander of PNGDF.
A parade to mark an historic occasion. An occasion paving a new direction for the Papua New Guinea Defence Force. Philip Polewara, a captain in the PNGDF Maritime Element, is being promoted to the second highest post in the history of the Papua New Guinea Defence Force.
This signifies the change the PNG Defence Force is going through our Force 2030 reformation program and Defence Force Strategic Vision 2050. And I acknowledge the government of Marape Basil to recognize these changes that we are going through in the Defence Force, to grow the force, to meet the changing security challenges that we face within our core tasks, but also the growing challenge within the region and the globe.
Captain Polewara, now Komodo, joined the PNGDF in 1886 as a second lieutenant in the Army. His naval career began in 1987 and he served more than 30 years in the maritime element until his promotion to Commodore this year. Polewara holds the highest rank in the maritime element and becomes the first officer to be appointed to the office of the Deputy PNGDF Commander.
Other major exercises and operations that he participated in were Exercise Paradise in PNG, multinational Kangaroo exercise in Australia, patrol boat exercises in Cairns, Australia, search and rescue operations, and surveillance operations. He served as the executive officer or EXO of HMPNG Starangao from 2003 to 2005.
The promotion parade yesterday consisted of members of the PNGDF headquarters, 1st Royal Pacific Islands Regiment, Air Wing and Maritime Element, and the military band. Prime Minister James Marape, in his capacity as the Defence Minister, says his government supports the transitioning of PNGDF into a modern force, one that supports the core functions of a developing nation.
That is the reason why we put the National Disaster and Emergency Response Unit under Defence Force. That is the reason why we brought the Fire Brigade under Defence Force. That is the reason why we brought the National Volunteer Service under Defence Force. For we are thinking of a Defence Force that is helping construct our country, reconstruct our country, and not just sitting around waiting for war to take place. And today I appeal to the conscience of our women and men in our uniform. Yours is a higher calling. In fact, yours is the highest calling. When everyone deserts their post in our country, in the public service, or in the civil orders or civil society, you will be the last woman or man standing for your country, come hail, storm, rain, or disaster.
Thaklagunga, National MTV News.
Dates for the 2022 national general elections have been announced by Acting Electoral Commissioner Simon Sinai. Writs will be issued on April 28, 2022. Polling is set to commence on June 25th and counting from the 8th to the 29th of July 2022.
Please take election as a time-bound activity and not another normal activity. So I am now announcing the date purposely for Finance Department and Treasury. The issue of writ will be on the 28th April 22. Close of nominations, or that's the time when they start nominating. The close of nomination will be on the 5th of May. The pollings of the elections for 2022 will start on Saturday, 25th of June, which is a 14-day period. And then it ends after 14 days, which is on the 8th of July. From July 8th to the 29th, we will be counting across country.
Meanwhile, Transparency International PNG has issued a statement welcoming the government's action to publicly advertise the position of the Electoral Commissioner this week. This comes after TI-PNG raised concerns over the importance of having competent and stable leadership within the PNG Electoral Commission to deliver the national general elections. Chairman Peter Aitsi says the elections will greatly depend on efforts to restore public trust in PNG EC. He said, drawing from the conclusion of the Moresby Northwest by-election, the Electoral Commission Appointments Committee chaired by the Prime Minister must convene as a matter of urgency to recruit and appoint a permanent head of PNG EC. The position was advertised on June 29th with applications closing on Friday, August 6, 2021. You're watching National MTV News. More stories after the break. Stay with us. Welcome back to the news. A group of 24 volunteers are days away from climbing Mt Kanagio on Karkar Island to raise funds for Medang Provincial Hospital and Gaubin Lutheran Hospital. The volunteers have been undergoing fitness training for the past 2 months preparing for the climb. 32 sponsors, both corporate and individuals, are supporting the climbers for this cause.
Mt Kanagio is the highest peak on Karkar Island, 1,370 meters above sea level. The 32 sponsors are supporting a climber of their choice, giving between 50 toya and 1 kina for every meter the climber reaches. That means if the sponsor donates 1 kina for every meter, they will have to pay 1,370 kina if the climber reaches the summit.
The proceeds will go for the Cancer and Cardiac Unit for MPH, the Mt Provincial Hospital, and we're also assisting Galvin Rural Hospital raising funds to upgrade their labs. We're just days away from the climb. We've got a total of about 24 climbers.
The Papua New Guinea Tourism Promotion Authority supported the climbers with 5,000 kina, including TPA merchandise for the participants. As part of the social and corporate responsibility, the Melanesian Foundation has also come on board to sponsor 2 climbers. The foundation has been involved in charity work this year and will also sponsor the Mr. and Miss Medeng pageant this month.
We've got over 32 sponsors, both companies and individuals. We've got about 6 partners who are partnering us for that climb. We've also got 2 major donors, and that is PNG Tourism Promotion Authority and Dataco PNG Limited.
A private clinic in Medeng Hope will also assist the climbers to raise funds for the 2 hospitals.
Hope Clinic mostly is about giving back to the community. Mostly it's providing alternate services to people seeking medical services especially. So yeah, it's about giving to the community what we can do in our best ability. Yeah, so we continue to support Mount William climbers. I think it's about 2 years now since we've supported them. We continue, and we'll continue to still support them because it's for a good cause.
In 2020, the group of volunteers who call themselves Friends of the Hospital climbed Mount William and raised 54,000 kina. The funds were put in a trust account and used to purchase medical equipment for the cardiac unit at the Accident and Emergency Department and cancer unit at the Medeng Provincial Hospital. This year, the funds raised will be divided between Medeng Provincial Hospital and Gaubin Lutheran Hospital on Karkar Island.
Thank you. The Mt Kanagio climb is the second climb that the group is doing to raise funds for the hospital. Last year we did the Mt William climb. This year, due to COVID-19, we're climbing Mt Kanagio on Karkar Island.
Martha Lewis, National MTV News, Medeng.
And now looking at the Nest Fund market report, the kina opened unchanged at $0.2850 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, your kina will buy $0.2775 $0.3655 Australian dollars, $0.3931 New Zealand dollars, and 30.22 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold is trading lower, coffee and cocoa closed lower, and copra closed higher. Palm oil closed lower, crude oil is trading higher, copper closed higher. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, the ASX 200 is trading lower, and the All Ordinaries is trading lower. The obvious gap between police to citizen ratio has grown over the years. In NCD, police, with the help of the municipal government, are working closely to close gaps in the policing of the nation's capital, with NCDC vowing to purchase vehicles for police to do their work.
Police in the nation's capital and the country are short-staffed, as stated by Assistant Commissioner of Police, NCD and Central Command Anthony Wagambi Jr. He says it has been an ongoing issue that is faced across the country.
Throughout the country, and especially in Port Moresby, the demand for policing services increased dramatically. The people want policing services everywhere. They want us to be at the bus stops. They want us to be on footbeat. Yes, our policemen do footbeat, but you must understand that we are short on manpower, so at times they will be called to attend to something else.
But there is a solution to the problem, and that is partnership with the municipal government, in which police can share the cost of policing operations. The National Capital District Commission in recent months has helped the police in the COVID operations in the capital city, which Metropolitan Superintendent of NCD, Gideon Ikumu, says has been a success.
What do you do when you cannot make policemen and women available getting out there to deal with complaints? Yes, they're there, present, but immobilized. With COVID enforcement, those resources become available. With the support from NCDC with fuel and staff, the presence of police was able to be available in the community, mitigating issues that were arising.
Governor of NCD, Powes Pakop, says the shortage of police manpower is a reality that will be seen for more years to come. But he did commend the resourcefulness of the ACP, NCD and Central, and the METSUP.
I'm very thankful that the ACP and METSUP, they are being creative, innovative, using technology, using innovation to provide us that type of outcome.
NCDC is working closely with police to ensure the shortfalls by our law enforcers are met. This includes fuel and subsidizing the purchase of police vehicles.
The Commissioner has come up with this initiative, Kina by Kina support here. So we have committed like a minimum about 500,000 helping police to refleet themselves in the city. Again, Mitokia, this policing is not a provincial or subnational responsibility, but we are faced with the reality and we have to put our resources to supporting police. Last year, we working this program along fuel subsidy. So we have been subsidizing the police with fuel subsidy too.
Fidelis Sukina, National EMTV News.
Lay's Angao Memorial Hospital Chief Obstetrician Dr. Leo Winwan said the labour ward needs an increase in midwives. According to Dr. Winwan, the hospital currently has 14 midwives, 2 per shift, attending to 35 deliveries per day. Winwan said this adds to the health indicators of maternal mortality rate in the country.
Lay's Angao Memorial Hospital Chief Obstetrician Dr. Leo Winwan said the hospital delivers over 9,000 babies in a year and 700 in a month. The hospital has 14 midwives, 2 midwives per shift, attend to 35 deliveries per day at the hospital. Dr. Winwan said they need more midwives to provide better health service to the women and babies.
It adds to our health indicators, maternal health indicators. What are the maternal health indicators? The maternal mortality and the parental mortality. This tells the country, the world about what best we offer to our women. It is very high. It's very high. For us, it's about 240 per 100,000 maternal mortality rate, and the parental mortality is about 26, 28 per 1,000 live births.
The Angao Memorial Hospital in Lay is currently under redevelopment. The labour ward was one of the facilities constructed with 10 new birthing suites.
Having a structure does not necessarily mean best service. We must have all the components put together. So we must also have proportionate increase in the human resource. So human resource is not only doctors, but midwives who make this service flow.
Health Minister Jelto Wong, who was in Lay 2 weeks ago, said increasing human resource is part of the department's health plan.
Also in our national health plan, to ensure that we have enough workers to cater for all this infrastructure that we're building. It gives more jobs to Papua New Guineans.
Julie Badui, Owa, National EMTV News, Lay.
Central Province Police have embarked on community awareness on law and order following a stabbing incident earlier this week. The incident occurred during a boxing event where the deceased and the suspect were involved in a brawl. The murder suspect is also said to be seriously wounded. Kairukuhiri MP Peter Isoaimo, who was officiating at the boxing event together with Central Province Police, addressed the situation. The incident happened at Berena Station in the Kairukuhiri electorate, where a major boxing event commenced on Tuesday this week. After two men got into a fight, one was stabbed by the other and has been pronounced dead. The other man was also stabbed during the fight and was taken to hospital, reported to be in a critical condition. As part of officiating at the boxing event, Kairuku-Hiri MP Peter Isoaimo took the opportunity to speak on law and order issues in the district, saying the curb on law and order needs to be done right away.
When our two CEOs are ready and the next GDA meeting is organized, I'm happy one of our presidents here, who's a member of the DDA board, or our chief rep also is around. I'll be happy to be receiving law and order submissions where we should be spending our people's money, because we need to curb law and order now.
Despite MP Isoaimo's efforts to provide support to police in the district with the aim of reducing crime rates, the problems still seem to exist. Part of the problem, the MP says, is vehicles shortage for police to move around and do policing activities. However, after donating some vehicles to police in the district in 2015, most of these vehicles are now not in good condition for use.
My dear people, I've done the best in law and order since taking office. You remember in 2015, I delivered police cars here in the same oval. Our Berena 1 is now beyond repair. The Laloki 1 got pranked by drunken policemen. The Doha 1 is buggered and is put off in police garage somewhere. This term of government, we managed to replace the Laloki 1 and the Doha 1. This time we bought them open back sixth element utilities, because sometimes policemen are too comfortable inside a 10-seater and the criminals run away.
Officer in charge for community policing in Central Province, Paul Simon, was also at the scene, providing awareness on the law and order situation.
Me want them all team blow me bla round long planty hap long. Kairuku, Mekeo, na many other villages in Central Province. One big problem, the province play me law and order. Law and order problem, especially our lower Kairuku here plus our Mekeos. We must brief, na mi tok sawali upla osem. It's getting out of hand.
Mr. Simon said drugs and alcohol abuse are the main contributors to the social problems in the area, with people relying heavily on authorities to take action rather than taking up initiatives for change themselves.
Drug problem inside the place me fundamental cause na problem long ogata breakdown long law na other problem long central. You me talk now, all money thing osem you me working funny. Me bla talking you bla long, no can drink in fire water. Me bla talking you bla long, no can manufacture in fire water. Me bla talking you bla long, no can sell in fire water. Me bla talking you bla, no can buy in fire water. You me Kairuku Mekeo, you me no harem talk. You me still working till the problem stop.
Trukai Sports is next. All the details after the break. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports.
Welcome to Trukai Sports. The Queensland Rugby League has given the go-ahead to all its competitions throughout the state after a 3-day lockdown was declared by state authorities. All Intrust Super Cup teams, including the SP PNG Hunters, will take to the field this weekend in round 12 as teams prepare to make their run towards the finals in August.
We go, round 9 of the Intrust Super Cup.
The Queensland Rugby League has declared that round 12 of the Intrust Super Cup would go ahead despite the announcement of a 3-day COVID lockdown in southeast Queensland and the Townsville region earlier this week. The QRL hopes that the lockdown will be lifted as planned at 6 p.m. today, enabling the full round to proceed after last weekend's bye. This clears the way for the SP PNG Hunters as they prepare for their match against the Mackay Cutters this Saturday at the Bycroft Oval. The Hunters will have to put in the hard yards if they hope to have any chance of ending their 7-game losing streak. Knowing a win can begin a run towards August's final series. The inclusion of Terry Wapi and Brendan Gutuno will also give the Hunters an extra boost in their attack as they hope to pull off a minor miracle if they manage to qualify for the playoffs. The Hunters have endured a disrupted season with injuries and suspensions taking its toll on the team, making it harder for the side to get its combinations working. Huxley Lovai, Chukai Sports.
With the approval given by the Controller's Office for all sporting codes to resume, the Papua New Guinea Netball Federation has scheduled its annual netball championships for September. The federation has also changed the competition format for the championships.
We missed netball over the last 2 years. Very good. So we are
President of the PNG Netball Federation, Ulato Ave, speaking during the recent launching of the Moresby South Motukoita Netball Tournament, said the federation has introduced new strategies. One of these include the change in the competition format for the national championships.
We'd like to see provincial participation at the national championships rather than district participation. So the Netball PNG has decided to change the competition format. Each province is represented by a team, only one team.
With the new format in place, the federation is also looking at having 2 teams to represent NCD at the national championships.
What we are planning to do is, because of the political structures in NCD, NCD must be represented by 2 teams. One representing the Motukoita and one representing Port Moresby itself.
Due to the global pandemic, the National Netball Championships was cancelled last year. With the approval given by the controller, the Netball Championships has been scheduled for September this year. Suli, Trukai Sports.
That story wraps up Trukai Sports. The weather report after these messages. Stay tuned.
Trukai Sports. Trukai Sports. This weather update is proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
Regional weather forecast for tonight and tomorrow. In the southern region, Port Moresby mostly fine, partly cloudy periods and windy for Daru. Kerma, cloudy periods with few showers. Alotau, partly cloudy with a shower or 2. Popondetta, cloudy with a shower or 2. To the Momase region, Ley, cloudy periods with a shower or 2 possible. Medang, Wewak and Vanimo, cloudy with few showers. To the New Guinea Islands region, all centers to be cloudy with some showers. And to the Highlands region, all centers to be cloudy with few showers, then morning fog.
The weather update was proudly brought to you by MoneyPlus, with you always.
The way it is this Friday, the 2nd of July 2021. Have a great weekend. Good night.